Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode here with Butito. This is our main colony here in our greenhouse edition of Oxygen Not Included. Couple little changes we just made is I added a couple airflow tiles here, mainly because remember this used to be just our vent shaft for all the extra stuff, just to have a route to get down to the bottom of the colony here. Well, we put a couple tiles there, and that way we can still dig down into here, and we're going to make sure that they can't go through these doors here. And now, for whenever they have to go over here, to the east side or the west side, they will all be coming out through these using these oxygen masks. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're going to search for a few more Drecos, and there just happens to be a few right down here. So we're going to open this up a little bit. Might as well bust all that open, right? And I see this little guy right here. He's wanting to come home. Come home, buddy. Then there's another one over here. We'll come get it. Yeah, this looks good. And then this buddy can also come home. And it's going to give us a few more Drecos to be able to increase our glossy Dreco count a little bit quicker. But as you can see, our glossy Dreco just got his butt shaved for the first time, which is good news because it means we have plastic. Over here on Cupola, we've done a couple of little things to make this colony a little bit more sustainable. We've added the sublimation station, which turns polluted dirt into polluted oxygen. And that's not too bad of a thing because we got it sitting right next to a deodorizer with our little seal here. So it'll eventually clean this up. And as the sublimation station produces some polluted oxygen, the deodorizers can clean it up a little bit. In fact, we'll probably add another deodorizer to this side. This is not a perfect system. You know, this is just to get us going so I don't have to worry so much about old Wolf Rider being over here on his own. We've also planted some bog buckets. They take polluted water, which we have from here, and they will grow some bog buckets. He's sitting on about 7 days worth of food as it is. And in order to make sure we don't run out of polluted water and polluted dirt, we have the old Sludge Press, which can take any of the polluted mud that we have and turn it into both polluted dirt and polluted water. And you can see that we have the pipe going right down into here. So this is all kind of set up. We also set these doors, did a little configuration changes to where you can only go through this door going from the right to the left. And that way he has to wash his hands in order to, you know, he uses the bathroom no matter what, he's going to wash his hand. He won't be able to come all the way around and get away from washing his hands. We got our little freshwater source. So I think we can feel comfortable, long story short, about letting this colony sit for a little bit. Some little changes that we wanted to make. We're probably going to drop this polluted water eventually into this tank. Once I start to see that it's getting a little low. We're also not using all of the polluted mud. We want to make sure that we're doing it in, you know, in short order, and that's why we've only queued it up for 50. And that's once Wolf Rider is bored a little bit. One thing to note on Cupola, though, is it took us a little while to find some sand to be used inside the deodorizer. I didn't want to have to break out the old rock crusher and start making sand out of our cobalt. So what we did, we went to the old materials overview, and you can see there's not a lot of filtration medium on this map. Luckily, there was a couple of elements down here, so we did find plenty. Now, these piles here are enough to make these deodorizers go for a very long time because they only use 133 grams per second. So these deodorizers will go for quite a long time. So right now, I'm going to consider this Wolf Rider to be sustainable so that we can feel good about clicking back on Butito and knowing that he is well and taken care of. Let's check out the new dupes for a minute. Nothing here is knocking my socks off, so we're just going to take the 3 hatchling eggs. And with these hatchling eggs, we're going to go down to our egg cracker and make some beautiful omelets. It looks like there's 4 running around. So we'll just grab the 4 eggs. And some folks will be lucky enough to have omelets in the morning. As we wait for our second dose of plastic to come off this beautiful glossy Dreco, I I was checking out our food stores, and as you can see, we're up to 160,000 calories of pickled meals. So I think it's safe to say for right now, we can probably get rid of some of these planter boxes. And we want to do that. That way we're keeping the dirt usage down to a minimum. We have 250 tons, and there's plenty of more on this map. So we're going to be able to survive off of mealwood for quite a long time if we had to. We're not going to have to, though. Eventually, we'll be switching all over to grub-proof plants once we're able to bring our sulfur over from Cupola. And since we are doing that well, I think we're going to go ahead and make sure we stop using the bristle blossoms. It is using some of our water, and until we get our cool steam vent tamed and used and knowing how much fresh water we'll have left, there's no sense in growing these bristle blossoms. So we will go ahead and deconstruct these planter boxes too. Right now, our only scientist is Little J. And the printing pod lit up, and I took a look, and I realized we're doing so well on calories, we're about to have our oxygen sorted, so I figured why not look for another dupe. And then on came Jean. Jean's a +9 science and a quick learner. Her only negative is she's a kitchen menace. She has an increased food morale bonus, which is kind of a good thing, right? But she has a decreased cuisine. I think that means she really doesn't know how to cook, but she likes food? Don't know, but we're going to go with it. Welcome to the crew, Jean. Now, Jean already has a spot to sleep and a spot to eat, but we need to make sure we've checked on the priorities recently. So we will go down to Jean and make sure that they can do the research. Make sure she's prioritized to do research. And then likewise, we'll go over to the schedule, make sure Jean is assigned to one of them. And I think we're down to shift 5 already. So welcome to shift 5. I started seeing some more idle dupes, and while we do have some digging going on around here just to start cleaning out some more biomes as we can, I figured while some of the oxidant masks are used, we can also put some dupes to other pieces of work. So I figured in this case, why not just have them do a little bit of storage? Eventually we'll get the nice infinite storage loop going, but for right now, might as well send them, why don't you pick up some reed fiber? Set it on 4, and now all the reed fiber will be stored in this storage bin, and the dupes that are so-called bored will have something to do. You can go fetch the reed fiber. And then I'll periodically add something else to the list. For instance, until we get our Paku going, might as well add some seeds here. We'll put all of, let's say, the mealwood seeds in here. It's going to be funny because this storage bin is going to fill up pretty quick with just seeds. We have at last got our 300 kilos of plastic. We only needed 200 to make that steam turbine. So now it's time to try to figure this beast out. This water down here is cooled down to 55 degrees. The steam in here is obviously pretty hot, but we will work on some sort of setup. The basic idea is that the thermo aqua tuna is going to cool some water, and that's the water that we'll use through our oxygen setup, and then the steam turbine will take the heat off the thermo aqua tuner. Let me see what I can work out. All right, you may notice by the cycle count in the corner, it's been quite a long time, and that's because this took me way too long to try to get working. But I think we have a working model. Now let me try to break it down. First, the cool steam vent produces the steam. And in that point, let's hypothetically say that these doors are open. This will fill with steam, which will bring down water, and the water will sit here. This thermo aqua tuner, as you can see from the plumbing, is connected to this little area to cool it down to a nice chill. Now, when these two thermosensors detect that the water there is below 25 degrees, it will open these bottom doors and close these doors. Once these doors close, these doors open, filling this chamber with hopefully steam and more water. So far, I've had this running for about 5-10 cycles, and it seems to be working. You can see, because it's such a small amount of liquid, that the liquid instantly chills to that point and then fills back up. Now, there's a hydro sensor in here. Why the hydro sensor? Because this area would eventually just get cold enough to where there wouldn't be any liquid there, and these doors would stay open, which would mean these doors would stay closed, and I'd never be able to get the steam and water drop that happens in here. Now, so far, this is not idled. You can see here the steam ranges sits around 5K between however long it takes us to do. And you notice the more water is dropping from this steam, which takes it a little bit longer to get beyond the threshold. And the more I'm paying attention to it, we may adjust these figures off the 25 degrees. Hey, maybe we only need it to be below 30 degrees. There's a couple of temperature shift plates here to kind of help keep the chill in this area for a quicker method of getting the chill into the water. But so far, this is also one of the little bugs that's been happening. You'll notice now that this hydro sensor has no water on it, which kind of stops the whole thing. Then you got to come over here, re-trigger it again. And that's once these things get fixed. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do to kind of figure this out. But right now, it's giving us water. You'll see right now it's like 38 degrees. It's because I had to start it off with a bunch of hot water. It was a messy situation, and it went on and on and on and on. I'm not quite sure what the final look of this little multi-chamber water cooler downer thing, how it will look. I don't know, but we will work on it. We've also been, since the dupes have had nothing to do in all this time, we figured we'd build the full Rodriguez. It is ready to go. This is the standard full Rodriguez. If you don't know how to build this or how it works, I highly recommend a video by Francis John. He does an excellent job explaining how Rodriguez's work. He breaks them down in the small Rodriguez, half Rodriguez, and they all... It's pretty rudimentary once you set a few up. You'll notice I don't have the bridge here or this connected to our overflow yet, and it's because I'm waiting for this water to continue to chill down before we, continuously inject it and, hurt all of our crops. Let me see if I can fiddle with this a few more times and see what we can do. The good news is our oxygen system's working. You can see nothing but pure oxygen coming out. Unfortunately, it is sitting at about 50 degrees. And it's all being self-powered right now. As a matter of fact, we will connect this for the overages since it's nothing but pure hydrogen coming through there. So now any extra hydrogen that comes up here will be converted into power once we tie this into our power system. In the conduct of making this, I needed to bring the heavy watt wire all the way down from the top. So this is going to help us, the steam turbine will be able to give back to the power grid, but also because we needed a full large power transformer to run this. Small crack in the pipes, I'm not quite sure how that happened. We only have the brine, that's what's in the pipes, going down to no more than like 1 degree. But somehow we still had a crack in the pipes. I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to have to do until we get some better coolants, like oil or petroleum, or one of a million other coolants that are better than brine. But for now, that's going to have to do. You'll notice that we're having some issues with our food. Well, it's because we ran out of algae, and I needed to put there it is, a temporary electrolyzer in here. You can see it's not looking great in here. So now we're going to have to contend with a couple of different items. One, we need to bring all this oxygen in, and we'll probably, let's see, this is the top one, so we'll have this run out here, and then we'll dump it off in a few spots, right? Maybe here. That'll work well. Then here's our middle one. We'll bring that out. Who knows what we'll do with it. And then we'll take our bottom one and bring it all the way down and around, and it will put some oxygen on the other side. this will work right here. And we'll put some nice vents. And for now, we'll have this middle one oxygenating the center of our base. We'll see how that works for now. Eventually, one of these will be for Atmos suits, and we'll get those working here in a minute. But for now, we can destroy these high-pressure gas vents. And the dupes will get busy on this. So yeah, we've had to resort to, yes, there's a little bit of mush bar. Don't judge me. It's just a little bit of mush bar, just in cases while we're working on some stuff, okay? Don't judge me. Once this water's cold enough, we'll put some radiant pipes in here. And that way the gas flowing through it has a chance to chill down too, which will then eventually chill down our entire base as well. Still working through some of the issues with this little system here. Right now, the steam is managing to keep this somewhat warm, so the thermo aqua tuner hasn't quite caught up yet. I'm probably going to add... I removed the doors to see how that would work. It's not that great because just keeping all the steam in here, it eventually comes into close contact with this area, which then, heats this area back up. So I might add either more temperature shift plates around and see if that can cool everything down quicker. Because you can see the temperature of the water is going down, just not very quickly. Let me work on some of that, and let me see what we can do. One thing I noticed is I started getting some wrong element damage going into the hydrogen. I had forgotten this Atmos sensor. So this pump was just pumping everything into there, regardless if it was waiting for more hydrogen or not. But now everything is good. You can see everything's pumping well, and there's the hydrogen. We'll have to wait for the rest of the oxygen to get filtered through this mess. So we're going to get some wrong element damage as it siphons the rest out. No harm, no foul, right? Seems we have it working again. It was a problem. If there gets to be too much water here, well, then it has a harder time of cooling it down. I dumped the water when it was about 40 degrees into the tank and let it kind of restart its cycle, and now it's been going again. And so the great thing about the steam up here is this will always have water on it as long as there's steam left in there. So we're going to let this run for some more cycles and see how it does. Right now it's going to have to do because we need the oxygen and we need some plants. Luckily, we've been able to switch over to our grub fruit plants, and they are growing just fine. The spindly grub fruits even turned into grub fruits. So we will have plenty of grub fruit preserve coming up. We're also switching over to some Atmos suits. Now that we have a steady source of oxygen, I have no problem switching over to those. And there is our beautiful exosuit forge. And I think we got 14 on the docket right now. So we'll get to making 14 copper Atmos suits, and that'll be that. So if at first you don't succeed, try again. And then when you still don't succeed, just keep trying. And eventually you will succeed, right? Or you will die trying, and then which you will not care. So I scrapped the entire last system. Okay, I've been throwing up my arms and couldn't figure it out how to make it work at the sort of regulation that I wanted. Well, I broke back into here to fix some issues in here, and of course the, 1,000 kilos of water per tile. So it's a lot of steam that dropped off in here. And as you can see, we're still condensing it all now. So our water's gotten a little warm, but we're going to try a different method. Instead of just trying to steam, to condensate everything at the source, we're just going to cool down the water itself. Now, once this aqua tuner gets control of everything, this should be it. It'll launch steam in here. This will be a nice chilly area, and then this will be a nice chilly area. So the steam will instantly condense, drop down, make cold water. Maybe a solution. Tell you what, I'm gonna let it run for a few. And we're going to see how it turns out. And we'll see if we're going to have to try again. Yeah, I think this is going to work out well. You can see as soon as it hits our little cold area, the steam is condensing into our little pond. The pond is already going down in temperature, just like we thought it would. Now, whether or not this will be able to really get this at the desired temperature that we want, that remains to be seen. But the fact is, we have oxygen, we have food. It was touch and go for a minute. And remember, as long as we can keep the temperature below 50 degrees, and the oxygen coming in below 50 degrees, we're going to be just fine. In other good news, we have our plastic factory all set up and it's going well. Right now we have, how many we have? We have 5 beautiful glossy Drecos. All the extra eggs are being turned into omelets. And yes, there is a shameful reminder of the time we almost ran out of food and the mush bars. But so right now we just have one incubator going, and as long as that incubator stays full, they'll stay enough glossy Drecos in here for us to have a continuous supply of plastic until we run out of dirt. But considering we have 226 tons, that's going to be quite a long time. Next episode, it's time to go get sulfur. We have 265 kilos left, and these grub fruits and the spindly grub fruits run off of sulfur. So that will be the mission of the next episode. I hope you had fun. I know I did. Well, at least I did on camera. Off camera, I was flipping chairs and desks because that original design that I thought was so nice, I just couldn't get it working reliably enough. We'll see how this goes. So until next time, talk to you soon.